Good afternoon, everyone here. I would like to thank all of you for being here today at this live webinar from School of Nursing Faculty of Medicine, Bioscience and Nursing in MAHSA University. My name is Miss Sohana. I'm the moderator for today. So for today's webinar topic is psychosocial and cultural influence of pregnancy. I would like to introduce to our speaker today. Her name is Puan Nahati Hamsha. She's a registered nurse since 1976. She's nursing education, specializing in midwifery. She is currently the coordinator for the Advanced Diploma in Midwifery in School of Nursing, Faculty of Medicine, Bioscience and Nursing, MAHSA University. She has vast working experience as a practitioner, academician, and administrator in both the government and the private sector. She is very well versed both in the practice and training of midwifery. Having worked at the training division and as a member of the Midwife Board of Malaysia for 2 terms from 1999 to 2005. So without further delay, Puan Nurhati can start the session.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the School of Nursing, Faculty of Medicine, Bioscience and Nursing. So I am Puan Nurhayati. So before we proceed to our topic for today, I would like to introduce you to our program, Advanced Diploma in Midwifery. All right, this is the name of the program, Advanced Diploma in Midwifery. So we are MQF level 5 and we are accredited, an accredited program. This is our number MQA 5A5219 and the credit value for is 49. Our field of study is nursing and caring and we are a full-time program. Duration of our study is 1 to 2 years and mode of study is conventional. And our program aim is to produce fully qualified, professional, knowledgeable and competent midwives to provide childbearing clients, their babies and families with high quality, evidence-based healthcare in the competitive local and global market. So why study Advanced Diploma in Midwifery? Midwifery is a very high job demand, both locally and globally. And midwifery is a very specialized skill and is globally recognized. We have graduates working in UK and Australia and Singapore. And midwifery is a career that you will feel you are good about because you'll be helping mothers and their babies, and you can work in a variety of settings. This is a career opportunities as a nurse midwife because you become a nurse first, then you study midwifery. So you can work in hospital, in the MOH and private, or you can freelance on your own and you get patient referred to you from the preparer centers, from doctors. And you can also work in the preparer centers, in the maternity home, or you can branch into academic, become a researcher and become academician in higher education institution like myself, right? This is the program implementation. Duration is 12 months, which is divided into 3 semesters. and I'll tell a slightly detail in these semesters later. Maximum duration allowed for completion of program is 2 years. That means you cannot make it within the first year. It can be extended into the second year. So implementation is face-to-face intensive classes. So we have online teaching, like during this movement control order, we are solely on online teaching. We have tutorials. We have skill laboratory teaching where we demonstrate and the students practice before they go to the clinical area for their practicum. So this is program implementation. We have 2 long semesters and 1 short semester, which is the long semester is 20 weeks, 12 weeks. This is the whole year. So each teaching block runs over a period of about 6 to 7 weeks. That means the first semester, 20 weeks, we have 7 weeks of theory. So followed by the second semester, we have 6 week theory followed by the practical. And subsequently in the third trimester, we have 4 weeks of theory. So ratio of student to clinical instructor is complying to the midwife board requirement, which is 1 in 10. So clinical supervision is executed by local preceptor and MAHSA clinical instructors. Student selection and support for Malaysian student, she must possess, or you must possess, diploma in nursing from a recognized institution by Malaysian Nursing Board, registered with the Nursing Board, possess current annual practicing certificate. Okay, minimum 2 years clinical experience. That means you have to work as a registered nurse for 2 years before you can be registered into our program. Okay, possess 3 months experience in related field, and this is actually criteria by the midwife board of Malaysia. So for student with international qualification, she must possess diploma in nursing from a recognized institution. Okay, diploma is the minimum. We also have students having bachelor and masters in our program. Okay, possess 3 months experience in related field. So registered with the Nursing Council of the country of origin, and also minimum 2 years clinical experience. And possess a current temporary practicing certificate. This is from the midwife board before clinical placement. So pass international English language testing system with minimum score of 5.5 and able to converse in Bahasa Melayu. So this is this will be arranged once the students are here. So health status, all candidates are certified medically fit by a registered medical practitioner a month before commencement of the nursing program. And candidate with the following medical conditions: HIV/AIDS, hepatitis B or C, mental health disorders, epilepsy, tuberculosis, and other chronic diseases cannot be admitted into the program, because these are most of these conditions contagious. Can infect the patient. Candidate must not have any physical disabilities and mental disorders or impaired senses that hinder nursing dexterity. So for any further information, you can access our website. So now we come to the topic for today. So psychosocial and cultural influence of pregnancy. So pregnancy and childbirth are events that touch nearly every aspect of human experience. Pregnancy is an experience full of growth, change, enrichment, and challenge. And the couple's outlook about pregnancy and childbirth are affected by the biological, psychological, social, and their cultural background. All right, and now let's look at the psychological changes during pregnancy. So this is the background. Pregnancy has long been acknowledged as a time of dramatic physiological changes, but only in the second half of the 20th century has attention been directed towards the emotional and psychological changes of pregnancy. Tanner in 1969 was one of the early pioneers to regard pregnancy as a developmental process with specific physiological tasks to be accomplished in order to facilitate an optimal outcome with integration in the life process. So each of these, the 3 semesters of pregnancy have distinct and definitive developmental tasks which we will go through after this. And this psychological task must be successfully obtained for the person to achieve beneficial emotional adaptation and to avoid difficulty with subsequent tasks. That means each step, it has to be accomplished for successful next step. So let's see the first trimester adaptations. Okay, these are the 3 adaptation, that is ambivalence, introversion or narcissism, acceptance of pregnancy, and during this first trimester, the gravida or the pregnant woman need extra emotional support from family members. Right. What is ambivalence? Most of half of the pregnancy are unintended and unexpected. But once the pregnancy is confirmed, many women have conflicting feeling known as ambivalence. So because pregnancy causes permanent life changes for women, primary gravida, that means first-time mothers feel unsure of the ability to be a good parent. That's why they have this ambivalence. Whereas multi-gravida may be apprehensive about pregnancy, which will affect her relationship with her older children. So the initial reaction will include a wide range of emotions, maybe surprise, maybe pleased, disturbed, disappointed, and frightened. And there is element of surprise in every pregnancy. So as the pregnancy progresses, they must reach an acceptance. So the next is introversion and narcissism. Many women become increasingly concerned about the ability to protect and to provide for the fetus. So undue preoccupation with oneself is called narcissism. Concentration on self, on body, is introversion. So they'll be selecting right food to eat. Primary gravida mothers wonder about the infant and looks at baby pictures and eager to hear stories of what they were like as they were infants, and they'll be asking their own mothers. So multiparents know about infant, but they are concerned with child's acceptance by the siblings. All right, and this can be very overwhelming to some. Yeah? So acceptance of pregnancy, accepting the pregnancy is one of the first changes a woman must make for successful transition in lifestyle. So a woman who can accept pregnancy will find it very difficult to accept the changes necessitated by pregnancy. So childbirth and interaction with the newborn. So there are areas to be assessed in the acceptance of pregnancy, extent to which the pregnancy was planned and wanted by the woman and her partner. Okay, amount of time the woman in happy time, in happy mode versus to depressed during the pregnancy, amount of reported discomfort during pregnancy, and the woman's response to the discomfort, extent to which the woman accepts or rejects her body. So studies have shown when acceptance of pregnancy is low, she's more likely to have conflicts and fears concerning labors and to have a longer duration of labor. That means she will have difficult labor. And the results further indicate that the gravida is less prepared for childbirth and motherhood. Okay, this is the second trimester adaptation. Role assumption, self-image, and body image during pregnancy, maternal role, attainment. So role assumption, assuming adopting to be the role of mother are parts of a long-term process. The psychological changes a woman undergo during pregnancy that enable her to assume the maternal role actually build a lifelong process of informal socialization or learning a feminine identity. That means she learned this from very, very young throughout her life. So mothers play a huge role in their children's life, caring for them, loving them, teaching them, and so much more. This is what she's learning about motherhood. Okay, self-image and body image during pregnancy. Psychology change a woman undergo during pregnancy, self-image and body image. So self-image and body image will be different depending on the woman's trimester of pregnancy. And there are three interdependent spheres of self that influence the psychological transition to role of mother. That is the ideal self, the self-image, and the body image. Okay, this is the ideal self. The ideal self composed of all the attributes, the qualities and images a person would like to have and hope to include in the self when they are pregnant. Okay, and this is the self-image. Refers to the more reality-oriented active self. It is the self that interfaces with the real world here and now, with the protruding belly, with varicose veins, with the nausea and vomiting. This is the real world here and now, and some are really struggling with it. Yeah? So body image during pregnancy has to do with the woman's perception of her size, how she moves, and her own physical beauty or ugliness. Yes, some feel that they're very clumsy when they are big. Yeah, and they are fully aware that their tummy is growing because they are growing a new life inside them. And they may be sensitive to how others perceive their changing size. And this is stressful if the mother is very conscious of her beauty. Okay, maternal role attainment. Maternal role attainment is acquisition of the mothering role, described as process that begins prenatally and ends with formation of a maternal identify during the infant first year. So for first-time mother, it is process in which mother achieves competence in the role and integrates the mothering behaviors into her established role set, so that she is comfortable with the identity as a mother. So this is a third trimester adaptations, lack of knowledge and preparation for maternal role, establishing a relationship with the fetus, and fantasy during pregnancy. So in modern nuclear family, guidelines for parenting are confusing and role model less apparent than in some other family types. So stressors include the lack of guideline for successful parenting. Okay, some women may feel they have trouble concentrating or focusing on learning new material or skills at this time if they are in the a nuclear family. So teaching should be clear and concise to help this woman learn most easily. So establishing relationship with the fetus. So during the course of pregnancy and the transition to a new lifestyle and the maternal roles, a mother needs to establish a relationship with the infant to be. So the relationship with the fetus is thought to be the first stage in establishing a relationship with the newborn and then the child. So I'd like to share some write-up on this, yeah, what the baby is experiencing in the womb, so that it's easier for them, so that we can teach the mother how to bond with the baby, yeah. So let's see, sound. At around 18 weeks, baby will begin to hear sounds of mother's body, so such as heartbeat and stomach rumbling. So at 20 weeks, the baby may react to noises both inside and outside the mother's body. That's why when the mother, when there is some noise, the baby also will move inside the uterus then. And baby may be soothed by sound of the mother's voice. So language development. So after 32 weeks, baby may start to recognize certain vowel sound from mother's language. So some research suggests that very early language development may begin even before birth. So memory, as well as remembering certain sounds from their mother's language, baby may remember certain music played to them. So sight, unborn babies' retinas are developed at 20 weeks and they open their eyes and see lights from 22 weeks of pregnancy, which is in the mid-trimester. So sensation, after around 18 weeks, baby like to sleep while the mother is awake. Since if the mother is awake, the movement by the mother can rock them to sleep. So they can feel pain at 22 weeks, and at 26 weeks, they can move and respond to a hand being rubbed on the mother's belly. So from this, these are ways to bond with the baby during pregnancy, and we can advise the mother to do this. Yeah, talk and sing to your baby, knowing he or she can hear you. So gently touch and rub the belly or massage it, and the baby, the fetus is going to love it. So and he can bond with you, and you can bond with him. Yeah. Respond to baby's kicks by gently push against the baby or rub the belly where the kick occurred, and see if there is any response. Yeah. So play music to your baby because you can hear music that mimics a heartbeat of around 60 beats per minute, such as lullabies as you spool, and and baby love it. Give time to reflect, go for a walk and have a warm bath and think about the baby. Have an ultrasound. So seeing the baby moving inside the womb can be a poignant experience for parents and can help them to bond with the baby since suddenly the baby seems real. So relax and try not to stress. Evidence shows that if a mother feels less stress during her pregnancy, the health outcome for the baby is better. So dream and fantasies. So that's about bonding with the family. So now we come to dream and fantasies during pregnancy. Mothers will experience rich dream about childbirth, about a newborn baby. They try to visualize their newborn baby and life as a new mother, and baby sex, and they will have nightmare. And fantasy is an important factor in assumption of the maternal role and transition into the lifestyle of woman and child. So fantasy during pregnancy allowed the woman to have a dress rehearsal for labor and delivery and mothering of an infant. So what is dress rehearsal is a final rehearsal before the life event. That is dress rehearsal. Yeah. So realistic fantasies of potential problem that might occur during pregnancy and labor and delivery can help the woman prepare herself to cope with these problems or complications should they occur. So let's now go to the father's reaction to pregnancy. So acceptance is also his major developmental task to be achieved. So he has to accept, yeah, and need preparation for the changes that will take place for his wife. So narcissistic self or self-centered response of the mother may be understood, and the father may be feel that they are being left out of the experience. Yeah. So so he may have feelings of jealousy, and this is quite well known. Yeah, the feelings of jealousy for his unborn child. His childhood background will also influence his preparation to this parenthood. And he needs to also to identify a role model for parenting, a style that he wants to mimic. And preparation also include fantasy and grief work. So what is grief work? Grief work is he's like grieving. He's letting go of his carefree lifestyle without any responsibility and obligation. That is grief work. Then only he is prepared to accept the parenthood. Yeah, right. Concerns of others. He's a breadwinner. Most are still primarily concerned with the financial obligations, and it can be very alarming. Yeah. Protective and supportive role. He's very protective towards his wife and the unborn child. He may also have symptom of pregnancy, and often felt by that. Some husband or fathers will experience the nausea, and they have even vomited. Yeah. And this is called a COVID syndrome, which is a French terminology for this syndrome. So effects of pregnancy on other children. So most parents agree children will need some warning. Okay, effects of the pregnancy may occur early for the children. Right, mood swing of mom and unpredictable response to behavior. Yeah. Okay, and physical changes in the home, and the children will get very alarmed about the changes for the preparation for the newborn, the upcoming baby. Right, now I touch a little bit on the unwed pregnant patient, because this is, as in the West, this is also becoming a problem, becoming a challenge for us. Yeah? So overall birth rate is decreasing, but for the teenage mother under age 15, it is rising. So 1 in 3 teens in the United States were pregnant by the age of 19. So the teenage pregnancy, teens are more prone to complications than older mothers. Yeah? And I had seen the youngest that I had nursed is a 12-year-old girl. Okay, and she had high swinging blood pressure, right? And we had to really look after her. So more complication for these teen mothers. So infant mortality is also higher as well. Okay, and they end up with preterm deliveries, yeah? And stillbirth babies. Okay, often may have problem with acceptance of the pregnancy and seek to hide it. All right, they will hide the pregnancy. Okay, and often the first major decision is to tell the parents of the pregnancy, and we have many questions where the gravida doesn't tell their parents, but their friends tell the parents. Yeah, there may be an initial reaction of anger, disappointment, and even grief. Yeah, so after parents have time to adapt and accept the pregnancy, they can be the teenage mother's best ally. So options facing the teenage mother. Okay, state school is the first option to be stressed to these mothers. Yeah, marriage may be considered to the partner. So abortion may feel initial relief and then guilt, but it will always be followed by guilt and depression, and it can last a lifetime. Yeah. Or another option is for adoption. Okay, but as midwife, we are not allowed to have any part in the adoption process. Yeah. Or they can become a single parent. Okay. Now we come to social influence. Pregnancy and childbirth are social events. Okay, like any other social event, like marriage and death, interpretation and meanings are given by society, and this affects the way in which pregnancy and childbirth are experienced. Okay, social influence are subject to historical change. So, and will also exhibit social class and ethnic variations. Yeah. But what singles out pregnancy and childbirth from other social events is exclusively gendered nature of the experience. Yeah, and pregnancy and childbirth has always been being accepted, belong to women, has been agreed, belong to women, and we don't see men as midwife. Yeah, so it's a totally belong to women, but it's very funny. But they accept the male doctors in the labor ward, yeah, and look after the pregnant woman. Okay, and this is interesting to see actually. Yeah? So let's look back historically to see how the social meaning placed upon pregnancy and childbirth has changed historically. So this is a brief one. Yeah. So in the past, pregnancy was conveyed as a time of 9-month long illness. So in the olden days, when the lady is pregnant, she's considered is not well, is sick. Yeah. So the pregnant and also the pregnant woman went alone to the physician office for care. But today, our society view pregnancy as a healthy state. Now, women bring their families for prenatal care, right? So in the past, at the time of birth, she was separated from her family and admitted to hospital. And she was hospitalized in seclusion from visitors and even from the new baby for a week afterward. But today, instead of the anesthetic to sleep through labor and birth, they are urged to actively participate in their experience. And birthing rooms and family-centered care have involved family in this childbirth, and even in our MOH hospitals. So people's opinion about the following also have changed, yeah, about adolescent pregnancy, about late life pregnancy with mothers more, women more educated and start family late, and lesbian pregnancy. But this is in the West. I think here it's not very well discussed. Yeah? So nurses can make pregnancy and childbirth more enjoyable for clients and the families by informing women about their new healthcare options and continuing to work with other healthcare providers to demedicalize childbirth. So now let's come to cultural influence. Different culture have different values, beliefs, and practices. A woman's cultural background can markedly influence a woman's pregnancy and childbirth experiences and may shape her mothering behavior, and it can also affect the needs and expectations during pregnancy and childbirth. So certain cultural beliefs and taboos may place restriction on women's behavior. There are a lot of taboos around, and this may place restriction on women's behavior and activities regarding her pregnancy. For example, this is one example, and we can look at it. I mean, we can find or look around for other belief. Yeah? So, example, lifting the arms over your head during pregnancy will cause the cord to twist. There are many others regarding the cord. Yeah. Okay. Watching a lunar eclipse will cause birth deformities to the newborn. Yeah. Okay. Listen to. So what we should do is we have to listen to such telltales to show respect for the person's belief, but encourage the woman to ask her healthcare provider to find out if there is any substance in them. So diet, okay. Cultures encourage pregnant women to maintain a diet that is generally considered a normal one for that culture. So food taboos are common, very much common. Okay, usually reflecting a cultural belief that certain foods are unclean, or fears that ingesting certain foods will produce undesirable physical characteristics in the newborn. For example, pregnant women, some will avoid eating chicken, avoid eating crab, eggs, rabbit, and blemish food, as those may harm the baby's appearance. Yeah? And some culture that subscribe to hot and cold theory of illness view pregnancy as a hot state. Yeah. So cold foods such as milk and milk products, sour foods and vegetables are encouraged. So So hot foods such as chilies, ginger, and animal products are believed to cause miscarriage and fetal abnormalities, and they should be avoided. Yeah. Okay, activity and rest. Most cultures encourage a pregnant woman to maintain normal activities, excluding strenuous works, although some encourage more rest during pregnancy. So norms for sexual activity during pregnancy are more variable, ranging from no change to strict prohibition of sexual intercourse to the second half of the pregnancy for fear of premature labor. Postpartum period is characterized by most restriction on maternal activity. So most culture encourage a period for some rest. Some as long as 40 days, which is norms, I think, across culture. Yeah. So only the numbers of days that varies. So during which time the mother is confined to her home, often to her bed. Yeah. So some cultures regard the postpartum woman as unclean and prohibit her participation in any religious activities. When this is the case, there is usually provision for a ritual, cleansing ritual for both mother and infant at the end of the confinement period, and this ritual is sometimes very elaborate. Yeah. Okay. So preparation for birth. Preparation for actual birth may include intensive preparation of the house and actual physical preparation of the mother through specific exercise, religious practices, or diet. So some culture view preparation in advance of the event as potentially dangerous, right? I think it is in this Malay culture, yeah? So advanced preparation or even referring to the fetus by name may be seen as tempting fate and making the mother and the fetus vulnerable to evil influences, or otherwise, and it would endanger the life of the mother and the fetus. So during prenatal visit, ask the woman and her partner if there is anything that they believe that should or should not be done to make the pregnancy successful and keep the baby healthy. So these are cultural assessment. Question to help nurse understand the family belief about appropriate care during pregnancy include how would you and your family prepare for the baby, whether they prepare in advance or there's a taboo in the advanced preparation. What concerns I have mothers, mothers that I come across who never bring anything for the baby. When the baby is born, then only the father bring the baby's layered. Yeah? So what concerns you have about the pregnancy? So what would provide the greatest assistance to you during this pregnancy? Yeah? Where do you obtain most healthcare information? Okay, either it's from the community or from the healthcare personnel, and what foods are encouraged or discouraged by the community, by the family, by the parents. Yeah? So who will be with you during labor and birth of the baby, and who will help you at home during pregnancy and after birth? So conclusion, psychosocial and cultural belief and practices can markedly influence a woman's pregnancy and childbirth experiences and may shape her mothering behavior. So our parents represent a broad spectrum of ethnicities and walks of life. So as well as tapestry of belief and customs that have shaped their values. So traditionally, doctors and nurses are scientific and data-driven. We recommend the safest, the most effective treatments based on medical knowledge. But today, particularly in a culturally diverse communities, doctors and nurses must strive for psychosocial and cultural competence to provide optimal care to the pregnant mother. All right. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you Puan Hayati for the good sharing knowledge and your experience with us. So any question you can you all can type in the chat box. Any question to Puan Hayati? Okay, thank you. I will end the session if no question. Thank you.